What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another video, and I wanted to give you something different. I want to read to you a review that was done from November 16th, 1970 by Paul Omenson when Elvis played in San Diego, California. I think this is a really interesting article, so let's go straight from the top. The title of this article was Elvis Still in Form, Phil's Sports Arena. Here we go. There were old men with gray hair, middle-aged women with their children, and a lot of girls in the late 20s, and all were at the sports arena last night to see Elvis. Needless to say, it was a sellout crowd of over 15,000 people. It was the first time ever that the sports arena had a capacity at home. The Rockets have never been able to do it, Tom Jones couldn't do it, and even the Rolling Stones didn't quite make it. But for 15 years, Elvis had been drawing full houses, and it seems there is no end in sight. The first half of the show started with the Imperials, a gospel group that sounded and even looked like the Four Freshmen. They did only 2 songs and then made way for the Sweet Inspirations, who drew an enthusiastic ovation for their rendition of the Beatles' Something and some wild old-fashioned gospel-style shouts and stomps. Finally, to round out the first half, the comedian was Sammy Shore. His series of jokes on the San Diego Zoo and his cigarette routine drew a few laughs, but then he should have had sense to let enough be enough and let that be a good thing and leave. Humor not enjoyed. Instead, he went on and on with jokes that left many in the audience wishing they had tomatoes to throw at him. But that was all forgotten in the midst of wild screams as Elvis made his way onto the stage to start the show again. He started with I Got a Woman, and then went on in a deep rendition of Love Me Tender. During a hard-driving version of Polk Salad Annie, Elvis brought the house down with a takeoff on the dancing styles of Tom Jones and Glen Campbell. It was quite clear that nobody had the flair for showmanship the way Elvis did. His wiggles and swirls drew gasps and squeals from the women in the audience, just as they did in the 50s. He ended every song with a dramatic leap with his arms flung out and his body shaking. The crowd liked his old songs best. Things like Johnny Be Good, Heartbreak Hotel were done with his best 50s style. And when he got around to Blue Suede Shoes, the crowd went wild. He ended the show with I Can't Help Falling in Love, and before the applause had hardly begun, he was in his limousine out of the arena. Left behind were a lot of memories of good old rock and roll, the way it was in the beginning, the man who started it all. Here's the set list from that concert. It was at 8:30. He opened with That's Alright Mama. They said I Got a Woman, but he must have missed that part. He played the familiar You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, You Lost That Love and Feeling. Polk Salad Annie, Johnny Be Good, he started to bring in. And he just started with that November tour to bring in How Great Thou Art. Suspicious Minds, I'm sure, was great. There's no professional footage shot of this concert, but some 8mm footage from a fan does exist. Now let me end this with another review from Carol Alton from the San Diego Union of that night's concert. Elvis Presley became the first entertainer to sell out the entire sports arena last night in one of the sensational comeback appearances he is doing around the country after a 14-year absence from the stage. Ticket sales of 14,511 were reported by the box office. The old ladies in their satin and moire evening dresses came to peer at him last night, as did the ex-Bobby Soxers and the very young who were just being born when he started his career in 1954. Why did they come? Why was Elvis indeed even there? Perhaps simply because rock and roll, regardless of the hokum thing it has deviated into now, is still very much where everything is. The rocking out sport where freedom and joyousness reign. Elvis has a remarkable ability to have a good time on stage and make a contagious thing in a crowd. He even enjoys himself, jokes with his backup act, swishes a glass of water over his shoulder, sits down when he feels like it, and even waits for a mood to come for a song. And the audience has a good time too. Girls still chase after the tassels he flips off stage and scream when he gets physical, sending a flurry of ushers to the bottom of the stage. Indeed, why not go see Elvis? He's fun and sexy and sings good enough. Besides that, he's the king of rock and roll. Last night, Elvis could only add to his laurels. Dressed in a white jumpsuit with a neon orange sash and matching ascot with a Spyro Agnew watch, on his wrist and any number of rings on his fingers. He made his way through a near hour-long set of not quite enough songs and perhaps a few too many jokes. But they were excusable because, after all, he's Elvis. He's out of retirement and he ought to be singing and saying things exactly how he feels. He doesn't owe anybody anything, really. He brought the house down with Blue Suede Shoes, Hound Dog, and Heartbreak Hotel, all Goldie oldies, and almost did the same with a new song, Suspicious Minds. He came across Rolling Gospel Thunder and How Great Thou Art, and wiggled and writhed through Polk Salad Annie. The set also included The Wonder of You and Bridge Over Troubled Water, among others. Throughout it all, Elvis was backed with a fine female vocal quartet, the Imperials, a tight 6-piece rhythm section, and a 23-piece orchestra under the able leadership of Joe Gershow. At exactly 10:30, Elvis, ever a polite Southern boy, thanked his audience and sped away in a big black limousine. Yes, the mystique and the magic are still there, indeed. Well, thanks guys for listening to this review. It's something a little different. Comment down below, tell me what you thought of it. Make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, give it a share. This will only grow the channel and Elvis's image. So thanks for everything, and make sure to follow me also on ElvisistheMan Instagram.